Hello, my mathematicians! This is Miss Foster with a special lesson on comparing fractions that will be useful to you as you work on your painting pieces project. So as you can see, I have my pretend painting here. That's the whole painting I'm working with. And over on the left side of the screen, I have the fractions in simplest form. If you haven't watched that video, go back and do it. You need to write your fractions in simplest form. Once you've done that, you're going to want to compare fractions to each other, because it makes you think deeply about the fractions and it shows that you really understand them. Remember, fractions get really confusing because they're about pieces and parts rather than whole stuff. So there's an amount of stuff, like the different colors here. There's also the number of pieces in the whole thing, how big the pieces are. Sixths are not the same size as twelfths, are they? And so the next part of that project is to compare things, specifically fractions. So let's compare some fractions. I'm going to grab a marker here, and let's compare light gray, which is 1/6, to light blue, which is 1/12. Now, you are probably thinking, "Ooh, Miss Foster, we already know this because we know that sixths can be twelfths. After all, we simplified 2/12 into 1/6, and that's true. But we can also get there using the common denominator, using equivalent fractions by multiplying one of these fractions, in this case the light gray one, by 1, although that 1 will be expressed as 2 halves. And I'm going backwards here. I'm the teacher, I can do that. So here we see that 1 times 2 equals 2, and 6 times 2 would equal 12. And so by rewriting the fractions, having a common denominator, we can easily see now that 2/12 is greater than 1/12. Of course, we don't always have to use a common denominator to compare fractions, although that's a good idea. But there are other ways to do it. We can really treat this as a puzzle in logical thinking. For example, what if I wanted to compare 1/6, that's orange, with dark gray, which is 5/12? Perhaps I don't want to do equivalent fractions here. Perhaps I can see something else about the patterns and relationships in the fractions themselves. Well, one thing I might notice is that the relationship between the numerator of these sixths, 1, and 6, they're pretty far apart from each other, aren't they? Whereas if I compare 5 with 12, I know that half of 12 would be 6. So 5 is pretty close to half. And, if I think about this, 3 is half of 6. So it turns out that I could just use common sense and relationships to compare sixths with 12s. And I could find out here that 1/6 is less than 5/12. Now, you're going to want to do as many comparisons as you can in order to get the most out of painting pieces. Which leads me to the question, how can I tell if I found all the possible comparison number sentences? Well, that's a special part of math called combinations. And it turns out that mathematicians have been thinking about combinations for hundreds of years. Famous ones too. I'm sorry, I forgot their names. We'll get to that later. Combinations theory is where a mathematician might choose to explore, how do I know if I got all of the comparison number sentences possible? So as I think about this, maybe I want to start with 1/6, light gray. And I want to compare light gray to dark gray, and to white, and to orange, and to blue. Now I don't need to compare light gray to light gray because we know they will be equal. But this looks like I might need to do 4 number sentences to get all of the comparisons with light gray. Then I might say, well, now I want to compare dark gray to all the colors, but wait. I already compared dark gray to light gray, so I don't have to do that one. I'll definitely want to compare light gray to white, and orange, and light blue. Is there a pattern here? Is there a repeated way of organizing this? Or a mathematical equation or sentence we could write? Will the combinations for my painting be the same combinations for your painting or Piet Mondrian's painting? So much to explore with combinations. So much. So my friends, thank you for playing math with me today. Have fun playing math with painting with pieces this week. And I can't wait to talk to you about it later. I love you. I miss you. Bye-bye for now.